Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Friday afternoon session on what is Smart Classrooms. My name is Quentin, and I'm going to be your host today. So sit back and enjoy the session. Let's learn about Smart Classrooms over the next 15 minutes. Now, this event is live. I am monitoring all the chats. So if you are joining us and you have any questions, make sure that you point them into your chat panel, which should appear on the right of your screen, and I'll be able to help you out there today. Now, there are instructions on everything that I'm going to be going through today. So if you would like some additional help notes, or you'd like to flick something off to any of your teachers or colleagues, if you head over to our help, and in the search bar you punch in Smart Classrooms, all the articles relating on how do I create my Smart Classroom activity, how do I clip videos, how do I add questions, what's the overview, all of that is going to be in here for you, ready to go after the session. So let's have a quick look at what Smart Classrooms is all about. In summary, it's going to allow you and your teachers to be able to grab all of your teaching resources and collate them neatly onto one page with one URL that you can send to your students. Here's a lesson that we prepared earlier. So if I am to open that up from my items, I'll be able to see all of the objects that I've chucked into this particular lesson, all of the questions, my description of the lesson, and I can share that directly from here. So it takes all of the content that we make available from TV4Education and just adds a little bit more extra value to it. Okay, Smart Classrooms also allows you to edit the clips. So if you've got something that's quite confronting, like this frog dissection that you need to show to your students, but you don't necessarily need to show them the full 15-minute clip, you just want to zone in onto two sections which make up about 2 minutes collectively, you can do that with Smart Classrooms as well. Okay, so it's a really neat little feature with a whole bunch of additional teacher tools that are built into it. Things like the attendance reports, which allows you to track not only who's attending your lesson or who's signed into your lesson, but who's actually engaging with it. So if there's any questions as to whether or not your students are actually paying attention, you'll be able to click that button, see who is on your lesson, who's nodded off and is surfing through Facebook, and you can even lock them out of your lesson using that attendance report feature. Okay, but before we go into that, let's just have a look at how we can start creating our own lesson. Okay, so on the system menu, all the administrators and teachers in the system should have access to Smart Classrooms. Now, if you guys joining us today are administrators, you have the ability to change the user roles to give access to individuals on your system. Okay, so the way that we do that is by heading over to Patron Management, locating our user by clicking Find down at the bottom. Okay, and just making sure that at the very least, in the user role section, they have teacher selected. Okay, now don't be going and giving teacher roles to your students. It will give those students unhindered access to all of the content that's available through TV4Education. Okay, so be very, very careful of that. Teacher role is exactly that. It is for your teachers. Okay, now if you are a teacher that's joining us today and you don't have access to Smart Classrooms and the ability to create a lesson from your system menu, you need to go and have a chat with your librarian or ICT coordinator, and they'll be able to log in and set you up. Okay, Once we've got access to create lesson, literally all we do is click the button and it's going to open up the create new lesson page for us, which just basically has 2 prompts. What's our lesson name and a little bit of a description. So we can go in here and we can chuck in our curriculum code. We can call it Year 12 Science H2O. Okay, and a little description. All right, click on save. Now that description, that's going to be visible by your clients. So it's going to help them to be able to remember which lesson they need to load. It's also going to help you when you're organizing your lessons later on. If you've got a couple of Year 12 science lessons, that description might help you out locating the correct one. Once we've hit save, we've now got all these, or these 2 buttons here, which will allow us to add objects to our lesson. First one is our add resources. All right, and this is going to allow us to add a number of different resources by simply selecting the tab and then using the controls to add those objects into our lesson. So we can do things like add in a text. We can say welcome message, and in our text we can do whatever we would like to format that. Okay, so we're going to make this really big and we're going to say welcome to our lesson. Change our color, make the font size normal, change the weight. Today in our lesson we're going to have a look at how water vapors mixed with various chemicals. Things to remember. 1, this is fun, but it's also dangerous. Keep your PPE always on until the experiments are over. If you are unsure, ask me straight away. Okay, save that in and it's going to drop that onto our learning page there. If I now want to go and add some resources from TV4Education, I can go and do that. I can also do the same thing for YouTube. Okay, and if I've got some worksheets, handouts, websites that I want to link users in with, I can also select those tabs and link them in as well. Now there is no limit to the amount of objects that you can add to your lesson. There is no storage cap for how large your lesson can be in gigabytes. We want to make sure that you as a teacher can teach your lesson effectively. So we are going to take care of all of that for you. You just need to worry about choosing the correct resources that are going to help your students learn. Okay, now there is also some editing tools that are available in here. So it's going to allow us to clip these videos so that we can really isolate the particular parts of this video that we want the kids to pay attention to. But we're going to cover that in a bit more detail in part 2 of the Smart Classrooms series that we're doing. So join me next week when we go through that. In the meantime, again, there is some help articles that are available, but what I also recommend that you do is use the hint function to draw your students' attention to that particular feature. So once I've added the object to my page, I can click on the edit there, and it's going to allow me to change the title. So I can say, watch this video first, and I can put in a little hint. Pay attention at 2 minutes, 45 seconds, as we will ask some questions on what they are talking about later. Okay, and those hints appear on the right hand side. Now it is a hint, okay, so if you go and type a big paragraph in there, it is going to cut that off once it hits our maximum character count, but keep it nice and simple. Okay, once we've done that, we can also add some questions in. So we can go ahead and add some questions. Is Smart Classrooms absolutely fantastic? Question hints. So again, we've got some hints on here. Keep watching and you'll find out. Possible answers. Absolutely yes. Defs. Kind of. Not really. Alright. And make sure that you select the correct answers. So we've got 2 correct answers, so we'll go ahead and select both of them there. Okay, now we've got our welcome message, a couple of videos, and our question with our question hint. Alright, we can go and add some more questions. So we've got additional multiple choice questions that we can add in, or we can do some true false. Alright, and we've also got missing word. So we can go smart and drop in a missing word there. Is a feature of the TV4Education subscription. Put our cursor in and type the correct answer. Alright, so now we've got smart. Users will type in classrooms is a feature of the TV4Education subscription. Okay, we can reorder all of our content. So by using the up and down arrows, we can have our questions appear after a video. So now we've got our welcome message, followed by a video, followed by a question, and then a video, instead of having both videos linked together. Okay, or we can put all the questions at the top and have the videos underneath. Just depends on how you would like to organize your learning material. Now, once we've done that, we can either close everything down and go into our items and launch that when we go into the classroom. So there's no save button. Everything saves on the fly. Okay, if I was to navigate to Patron and then my items, okay, our lesson is going to be right at the top of the list because it's the most recently created lesson that we've done. Okay, so if I click on that to launch that, all the changes that I made, they're automatically saved in the system. I don't need to worry about hitting any save button. Okay, if I'm happy with the way that that looks, I can click on share. Make sure that my lesson can be seen by the correct year group. Okay, so my particular drop-down list is a little bit messy because of all the demonstrations and testing that we do. All right, but you should see a clean list on your system of 7 to 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and staff. Select the appropriate year level, remembering that this is the lowest year level that can see this group. See this lesson. Okay, so if we select 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and staff, we will be able to see your lesson. Make sure that our lesson is accepting answers. Okay, so if you want to change it to not accepting because you want everyone to watch the video content with you first and then answer it for homework tonight, you can do that. Okay, otherwise you can leave it as accepting. Click on the share link once, copies the link to your clipboard, and then you can paste that into an email or your learning management system for your students to access. Okay, so when they access that, if they're not already logged into the system, it's going to ask them to log in so we know who they are and who we need to give the question marks to. Okay, and then it will take them into the system. Obviously, they're not going to have any of these edit buttons or edit controls. They're just going to have the ability to look at the material, click play to the videos, and answer the questions. Okay, so creating a lesson with Smart Classrooms is very, very simple. It's just a matter of making sure that you click on System Menu, Smart Classrooms, and Create Lesson, and then just follow the prompts to make sure that you are adding the correct resources or the correct type or style of question that you're wanting to ask your students. Okay, now in part 2 of this series, we're going to have a look at the video editor. We're also going to have a look at, once our students have responded to our questions, how can we get the marks? Okay, so it is automatically marked for you. It's not something you have to worry about doing. It's literally 2 clicks and it will spit out an entire portfolio for each individual student on how they've done with your lesson. And we'll also take a bit of a look at the attendance module. So once again, very, very powerful system. Very simple once you know which button to press for which scenario. Okay, so that's all for Smart Classrooms today. Once again, if you do need help, top right hand corner of your system when you log in is the help button. Go ahead and click on that. If you're a new user, you've got the concierge service, reach out to us and we can help you out. Okay, once again, my name is Quentin. Thank you so much for attending today and looking forward to having you along in part 2 of Smart Classrooms. See you later.